So today in this video, what I want to demonstrate and do is deploy a Flask application to ECS with Fargate through CI/CD with GitHub Actions, and I want to log the application logs to CloudWatch. Now we created a virtual environment here, and the next step is to set it up. So virtual environment venv and enter. So I created the virtual environment now. So now what I want to do is activate the virtual environment. So source venv bin activate. So now it's activated. So now all I have to do is pip install Flask, and this would install Flask in the virtual environment. I created the code for the Flask application. So now I want to open the browser and see. So as you can see, the text is running on the application successfully. So now what we want to do is I want to create requirements.txt, and I'm just going to say to Flask. So this is going to be the requirements for the Docker file. So now let's create a Docker file. So now we have built or made the project for Flask. Next step I want to do is create the ECR repository and then the ECS cluster. So now I made my ECR repository for North Virginia region. I'm going to just create the cluster. No, not the cluster, the repository now. I'm just going to keep it as Flask app create. So now what I want to do is just take note of this. Let's create a task definition, new task definition. And let's say Flask app task definition. Keep it as Fargate. So I'm going to just name this Flask container. I'll paste that here. And let's see. I need to set this port to 5000. I'm going to just keep this Flask port. And next I want to send any logs to CloudWatch. So I'm going to keep this enabled. We could also send it to OpenSearch, S3, and so forth. Let's just create the task definition, and let's create the cluster. So let's call this Flask app cluster. Flask. So Fargate monitoring, I'm going to enable container insights. Scroll down. I don't need to add anything. Don't create. Now it's created, so let's go in and create a service. Now, this service will fail, but when I deploy through CI/CD, it will set the status as running. Next thing I want to do is set up the GitHub Actions. So let's go to my GitHub repository. For my repository secrets, I've added the AWS access key ID and the AWS secret access key. So these are going to come in handy when I deploy through CI/CD with GitHub Actions. The next step, what I want to do is just add the task definition. So I'm going to create a task definition.json file in this folder. Now I just readjusted the task definition to a smaller version. I want to deploy to ECS, so I'm going to select this option. And as you can see, it gave me a template to work with. So what I'll do now is I'll just run through this and fill it out. So something I was thinking of there, I want to organize this into one folder. So what I'm going to do is just highlight. Let's see, new folder was selected. And deploy the ECS Fargate Flask application. Yes, git status to check the status. No commits yet. So now let's just test the CI/CD. I'm getting an error here for pushing because my branch is currently behind. I tried to pull, so what I'm going to do now is let's see. I'll try and force. No, what I'll do is git pull rebase origin main. Okay, so that worked. So let's say git push origin main. And it's pushing now. So let's go back here and refresh. So we can see here the workflow is now under deploy. So let's just check the status. Error, inaccessible host. A port undefined service may not be available in the US East region. Okay, so I made a small typo error here. So I just said US East rather than US East 1. So let's just push and let's see if this helps fix the issue. Git push origin main. Okay, so let's refresh. So let's go into here, deploy. So now we have error, failed to solve, Docker file parse error on line 11, unknown instruction command Python. So let's look at the Docker file. Okay, so the error is because I didn't put any spaces in. So let's now save that. Oops, git push origin main. So now it's pushing. So now it's thrown an error because of the requirements. So let's give this a full view. And let's see. Oh, okay, so I didn't add the txt. So let's add that now. The ECR has been pushed. The Docker file has been pushed to the ECR. So now task definition does not exist. So let's go back and fix that and copy and paste this to here. Let's add dot and then here. Now let's see if that helps fix that issue. So now we can see the CI/CD has been complete. Post job cleanup, and let's just zoom out. Let's reset. So you can see here green. So let's just well, what I want to do now is just let's just verify that now in ECS, and let's go back. Let's again reset. Okay, so yeah. Okay, there we go. Let's see. Let's just refresh here. So as you can see now, the Flask service is now running and it's complete. There's no apparent errors. Yeah. So next thing I need to do is go to networking for this and then allow port 5000. Add it as public web. Maybe it will block me, so let's just verify that. Okay, so let's now refresh. So now you can see the Flask application is running on ECS through Fargate. That's been deployed through GitHub Actions with ECR2. And let's just do one final thing. Let's go to my CloudWatch metrics, or sorry, CloudWatch logs, and see if there's any logs that can be observed. As you can see on CloudWatch log groups, all the logs have been deployed to CloudWatch via the ECS cluster. So this pretty much concludes the video. I've successfully deployed an ECS Flask application. Flask application to ECS and ECR, and all the logs will send to CloudWatch. Thank you for watching.